So I also like that it talks about what to do afterwards, right? So it talks about what's called the double bind of twisted nonsense. Basically what she's saying is things get complicated when you try to explain to others why you feel you had no other choice but to make that decision. This is when you must dig deep and trust that you have made the correct decision for yourself. Okay, it's important to recognize, I know she's not saying this, but it's important to recognize that nobody can fix your family dysfunction, okay, unless they actively choose to do so. Okay, and then finally what I love is she talks about the need to grieve, which is often overlooked when we're talking about setting boundaries, especially a drastic boundary of disconnection. It's important that we recognize that there is going to be grief, and your sadness and grief are justified. So validate it, and in setting the correct boundaries, recognize that you're also opening your life up to greater possibilities for happiness. This part is often overlooked, and so I think it's so important to remember that. And I love this paragraph, so I'm just going to read it out loud. When you feel you're not supported or allowed to grieve, your feelings of resentment and rejection stay rooted inside your body, eroding your overall health and well-being. When you're not given permission to feel sad about your circumstances and to mourn them, you become deeply pained and internally isolated. The pain that others cannot see from the outside is that in a healthy family paradigm, conflicts are handled with more benevolence, civility, and maturity. When something bad happens, healthy family members first reach for feelings. They reach for grieving. They reach for connection. They reach for understanding. They reach for compassion. They do not reach for revenge. Instead, they remain curious about what is needed to find an open and safe common ground. This did not and likely will not happen for you. Therefore, you have the right to grieve and mourn the pain of the reality your family brings. So, it's important to recognize that there will be a grieving period where, you will be grieving, and you have every right to grieve those feelings. It's regarding your parents or other family members did not love you as you needed and deserve to be loved. So you have every right to process and mourn this. I love that she goes over this.